Hey, fellas, happy Valentine's Day. I just want to give you a little update on how things are going with Denmark. So, right now, I've got 4 games entered for Denmark. I have 5, actually. I have your JV scrimmage with Denmark from last year, your varsity scrimmage from Denmark last year, our game in the playoffs with Denmark, and then I've got Denmark, Luxembourg, and then Denmark, Xavier. So, what I did is I just started entering fields, play quarter, down, distance, gains, loss, runs, formations, play directions. And some of the stuff that started popping up was, all right, what are they doing with their fullback? And when you look at a Denmark team, I think what they're doing is they're fullback dependent and they are tight end dependent, right? So they want to build everything around their fullback and their tight end. So the first thing I did is I went into the JV game and went into here because the JV game is a good spot to start because if you understand what they're doing on JV, you understand what that foundation for their whole program is. Like, what are they trying to build off of? Okay. So I take a look here and I went into reports and I said, now, when you run a report, make sure that you pause because if you run like the clip and then you try to run a report, if they're both moving at the same time, you're going to get booted out towards the end. So as I'm trying to create a report, watch what happens when this meter gets here. It'll take me out of here. So I'm trying to click this, and it booted me back out. I want a custom report. So the first thing I thought about is what is the fullback doing? So I went down here and I entered a field that said, do they follow the H steps? So I call the H the fullback, because you can take your fullback and move them around, kind of like we do. So is he following the H? So I went into here, hit report, create report, and then I went into ODK, offense, defense, kicking, and then I went into play type. Is that a run or a pass? And then I went into, is it following the H or the fullback? That's my question. So then I created that report. Check this out. So this is in the JV game. They ran 19 plays that we have on film. Of those 19 plays, 17 of the plays followed the fullback, or the fullback took you to it. So I look at indicators, and usually I start getting interested if I get like about 70, 75%. And then if we get closer to like 80, 85, I'm like, oh, maybe we got something here. So right now they're at 89%, okay, that they're following their fullback. I'm like, ooh, that's pretty good. So then if you take a look at the runs that they ran against you last year, they ran 10 times, and then every single run, everyone followed the fullback's first step. So I'm like, oh, that's something you can build off of. Okay. So then the next thing I did is I said, did that hold true for varsity? So this is Denmark versus us last year in the scrimmage, in the game versus Luxembourg and versus Xavier. So again, I paused. I did the same thing. I went to reports. I went to create custom report, and then I went to play type. Is it a run or a pass? I don't have to put ODK because I set up a specific playlist that's only Denmark's offense. So I went to play type, and then I went, do they follow the fullback? Oh, so you take a look at this now. This is exciting, right? So in Denmark's 4 games we have, they ran the ball 133 times. The fullback took you to the ball 127 times. 95% of the time they're running behind their fullback. They averaged 5.1 yards with the fullback, 2.0 without. And check out these totals in 4 games. 648 yards following the fullback, 12 yards without. Now the passing, it's more 50-50. But let's take a look at the runs. What are the runs that don't follow the fullback? All right. So if we look, there's only 6 in 4 games that didn't step with the fullback. But if I take a look at them, this one is just a 50. So basically that's a naked bootleg. So these guys are running a play, and the coach said to the quarterback, hey, just keep it. So you can see him here. These guys don't know it, but their quarterback just kept. All right. The other play that they ran is a buck. So what a buck is, if you're a wing T team, The buck is the fullback going one way, the halfback going the other, and both guards pulling, called the buck sweep, right? They've only ran one, and they added it into their playoff game. So you're going to see the fullback go this way. You're going to see the halfback go this way. You're going to see both guards pulling. There's your buck. You guys did a nice job there. They ran a counter ISO. This just looks sloppy. You can tell that they added this in playoff week. Right? They're kind of not sure what they're doing. And then they have 3 TE counters, which is the fullback goes and fills for the tight end, and then the tight end and the tackle pull and lead the counter. Fullback's going to go this way, tight end and the tackle are coming across. I'm going to show you the other one. This is against you guys in the scrimmage. You're going to see the fullback go this way, and you're going to see the end and the tackle go that way. And then you're going to see one against us. Really, the only play that they had that was successful going away from their fullback. And that's because I think this is that Austin right there? What he does is the fullback goes this way, the tackle and the end come, and you go upfield instead of squeezing and going under that pull and spilling it over the top. You'll see what I mean. Like, watch how far you get upfield. Like, you should be here at heel depth of your offensive line. And when this thing comes, you go inside of it, you go over the top of it. See where you're at? Boom. Yeah. But that's it, right? So if you're looking at 133 plays, I just showed you the 6 plays that they ran. Now let's take a look at the plays that they ran behind the fullback. All right, ISO, 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 ISO. ISO is just the halfback following the fullback. The difference between a belly ISO and a regular ISO is just how the quarterback opens, or like he reverse pivots on a belly ISO. A blast, counter, 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 counter trap, dive, 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 counter, ISO, ISO, ISO. I'm calling these ISOs kind of the same as just these. They just open a little bit different. So right now, big one, ISO. Oh, lead. Lead is just off tackle. All it is the line goes down, and then the fullback just kicks out the end. Power. What's the difference between a power and a lead? A lead is the fullback is kicking out the end. A power is the fullback's kicking out the end. Now a backside guard is folding up, right? So what do we have to stop? We got to stop ISO, lead, power. Now watch this. Toss, 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 toss. Next page. Oh, toss, 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 and a couple traps. Get the idea? What are they doing when they're running the ball? They're following their fullback, and then they're going to run ISO on the inside. They're going to run lead and power off the edge, and then to get outside toss. And that's it. So now the next thing you got to do is we're going to take a look at, and I'll add another little clip on this because I want to get more specific into this, because I said Denmark runs a fullback tight end offense, right? That's the fullback right there. 95% of your plays are following your fullback. ISO inside, lead and power off tackle, and then toss to the outside. So then let's take a look at their passing. Okay, look at the plays that follow the fullback. Flood, 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 throwback. Get the idea? So the first thing you have to stop is the flood. What is a flood? All a flood is, that's when the quarterback opens up to the fullback and the halfback. The fullback drops into the flat, and then they put guys on 3 levels. So what they want to do is, if you're looking at a specific part of the field, they want to put more guys into, they want to flood the field. They want to put more of their receivers into that area than you can cover. So I'm just going to pick one out of here. So what they're going to do, this is a 70, so it's going to open up this way. The quarterback's going to open up here, and this guy's going to go down. The number 2 is going to go out, and then the number 3, this fullback is going to drop into the flat. And here's the biggie, boys. And I'm going to get more specific on this later. Here's the tight end. So the key to beating these guys, right? When they're running the ball, what's the fullback doing? Identify the fullback, and then we're looking at ISO, lead, power, and toss. Then, number 2, disrupt the tight end, right? Because this is your drag guy. And he's going to be on the backside of Waggle. He's going to be on the backside of Flood. So you watch him right here. There he is right there. Okay? And you see why they call it a flood? Because this guy's going to be up here. And then this guy's going to be here. And this fullback's going to be here. And this tight end's going to be in here. So they got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in this area. And they're saying we can put more guys in this area than you can put in that area. Now, so if we look at the plays that go with the fullback, flood, 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 couple of verts. Now check this out. Waggle, 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 waggle. So what's a waggle? A waggle's a little bit different because the play, the quarterback opens to the fullback and the halfback and then rolls away from them, but the fullback still comes out. It's like an opposite flood, but it's still kind of like a flood. And there's more dragging involved. So if we take a look at, let's get a good view here. All right, so we're running a 50 waggle. So the quarterback's going to open up this way. These guys are going this way, and then he's going to roll out this way. And we should have the fullback coming back this way, and we should have the tight end dragging across. Here's our waggle. Oh, yeah. See the tight end? Tight end's going to be dragging across. Well, first, let's look at the quarterback. Quarterback opens up this way. Yep, opened up that way. Now watch the tight end drag across. Yep. And now watch the fullback. The fullback should come. Usually, well, you can do it 2 ways with the fullback. They can go through the line, or they can step and go out to the flat. Or if you're running like a buck scheme, he would open here and he would drop to the flat and then he would fake here to the halfback. But either way, it's mostly tight end and fullback, running and passing, right? There's a tight end. Now let's watch the fullback. Fullback, there you are. Sneaky little devil. Let's take a look at when they don't. This is interesting too. When they don't follow their fullback in a pass. I thought this was interesting. If you looked at the formations, offensive formations, right? Split back, split back, split back. Split back, 2-back gun, 2-back gun, 2-back gun. Split back, split back, split back. That's telling me is when you see 2 backs in your backfield with your quarterback, what do they want to do to them? But it takes longer for the fullback to get into that waggle and flood relationship. So what are they doing with those 2 guys? They're pass blocking. Okay? So split backs are probably a pretty good indication that they're not following the fullback in your pass scheme. So to recap, if they're running the ball, 95% of the time, they're following their fullback. If they're throwing the ball, okay, their most productive stuff is utilizing the tight end and the fullback, waggle and flood. So how do you beat these guys? Number 1, where is the fullback? ISO, inside. Lead, power, off tackle. Toss, outside. Number 2, disrupt the tight end. Defensive end, jam them up. Linebackers, if you see them crossing, boom, taking a shot. Right? Disrupt the tight end. Flood and waggle. So what am I going to do next? I'm just going to show you some stuff on their passing game and how they use the tight end and how we can negate the tight end. Boom. Happy Valentine's Day.